Greetings. This is Robert Forsch. I'm at sea level in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, the Cherry Grove area, also known as the Point. I'm going to flip this around so that we get the proper orientation. Wanted to show you my new logo and shirt, and to show you the tide coming in now. And we had a good possibility for rain, so I've got the life-proof case on. I'm doing a bit of a sound check. The wind is coming out of the south at about 7 miles an hour. The tide will be coming in for about another hour and a half. I've made a couple of live broadcasts from here recently to show this area at the various stages of the tide coming in. Got some friends coming on out right now with their dogs. It's kind of interesting to see humanity enjoying the beauty of creation out here. What I will do is going to be not a real long broadcast. I wanted to zoom in a little bit on some birds out here that are on the high ground. Let's see if I can, it's a little bit tough to see through my monitor. So what I want to do here, I'm still kind of learning some of the, let's see, the quiet mode is turned on. I really don't want to silence communication between friends. I'm not sure what to do with all that. Good morning. Hi there. What's interesting too, the water is reflective. The people that come out here to enjoy this are typically pretty reflective, thoughtful people. There's a circulation that develops here at the Point. The tide coming in, there's a canal, not necessarily a canal, a channel next to the island, and then the circulation fills up this area, and then it creates the different shapes that we notice out here with the tidal area. Good morning, ladies. I'm still having a bit of a challenge with my Facebook posting to my photos through my computer. I'm not sure what the problem is. I'm working through the details on that. It says it doesn't recognize my password, even though it's what I use to log in to be on Facebook. So I've tried logging out of all my devices, logging back in, and contacting Apple. The last time I did this, I spent about 17 hours on Apple support and notified Facebook, and it just didn't seem to get any better. And then all of a sudden it happened. I was able to share again. I don't know why. I can copy and paste to my desktop, or I should say I can download to my desktop and upload to Facebook. I just haven't been able to add to my photo album the way I normally had been. The water tower is right in the middle of the view. There's lots of water towers around. I notice them now more than I used to. The water seeks its level. There's some birds right there. I'll take a picture of them. I can do that and then hold it up. That'll be easier for me to do. Looks like I went out of focus when I did that too. So part of this is working through the technical details. I brought some Q-tips to clean the moisture out of my lens, and I'll keep those in a Ziploc with my cards and stuff. It's all a bit of a challenge to work through, especially with challenging weather. It actually looks like my lens is pretty clean. The hydrologic cycle, the water cycle of the world is really a big deal. It purifies the world that we live in. The water helps purify our bodies, cleanse our bodies from the impurities, toxins, and also carries around nutrients. The temperature differentials affect the evaporation and condensation and ultimately precipitation. We had a couple pelicans land there. I'm going to take a shot of them and show you. The pelicans are amazing birds. They're really a hardy bird, a tough bird, and it's just a joy to watch them out here. The shape of the beach is so different than it used to be. It's continually changing. It has to do with storms, currents, and all of that. Also, we had many yards of sand brought in. Their osprey just took a dive. Looks like he got the fish. Normally they wiggle like that when they eat one. On my photo album, I actually have a close-up picture of an osprey grabbing the fish and carrying it away. Now this is just the zoom on the iPhone 6. Actually pretty good, I think. Whoops. What I have had a hard time doing is zooming back out, and flipping the camera view around helps with that. When it's actually high tide, the water fills this up, and then the tide goes out, and then the water from the coastal preserve leaves the area, and there's just so much turbulence that it creates a interesting and unique to each day. Actually, each tidal cycle changes the way that the ocean floor looks here. So the flood that Noah prepared for covered the water up until then. It hadn't rained, from what I understand the biblical account, and then it started raining, and God opened up the floodgates of heaven and the fountains of the deep to cover the face of the earth, to over the tops of all the mountains. Right now, apparently the tallest mountain is Mount Everest at 5.5 miles tall. That's a lot of elevation above sea level. We don't know how tall the mountains were then. We do know that water doesn't stick to a spinning ball, or at least I do. As a biblical creationist, I'm unapologetically so. Unapologetically biblical. I thought I was born again until I actually was. And then a friend made me aware that there was actually a global deception, that the shape of our world, the globe, was actually part of a very elaborate deception to cause humanity to believe that we're basically a godless cosmic Big Bang, like a random chance. No such. We're created by God, and I believe the God of the Bible is the one who created this. So one of the great joys of my life has been to broadcast, record, and share God's Word on Facebook and YouTube, as well as showing the beauty and majesty of creation and the people that come out to enjoy this. So there's the clarity of this particular broadcast might not quite be what I would like it to be, and I wanted to stick with it and see how it shows up and sounds. One of the things that I did notice is that the life-proof case causes there to be less noticeable wind. How would I say, extra wind sound. It works good for that. I lose a little bit of clarity on the view, and I'll check that out when I get home, because one of the things that happened, just to keep in mind how delicate the hydrologic cycle is, the evaporative cycle. When I put my phone in the case, it was a rainy day, and then there's a temperature differential between the temperature it was, the humidity level, and I think that the condensation, there was only a little bit in the case. It may have impaired the view, so I dried it out really good with a hair dryer, and then sealed it up. And one of the other dynamics that I do is this time of the year, because the water temperature and the air temperature is so close, and then the ambient temperature increases quite a bit, so I'll be using air conditioning in the vehicle. And one of the challenges with that is it cools down the equipment, and the lens will fog up really easily, which is a bit of a problem. Last night I took a shot of the moon at it was between 3 and 4 o'clock or so, I believe it was. And the interesting dynamic of that is there were only a few minutes when that was available because of all the cloud cover. I pre-planned for the possibility of being able to take that shot by having my camera in an area that was much warmer. The garage is not air conditioned, so the lens of the camera didn't fog up when I went to take the shot. It's interesting because sometimes that shot will only be available for a few seconds because of cloud cover. I share that with you because one of the shots that I would have liked to have during Bike Week, a motorcycle was driving down Highway 31 coming towards me, passing traffic on his rear wheel. He was doing a wheelie and passing traffic, probably going 70 to 80 miles an hour, doing a wheelie. Wow. pretty interesting. Shots like that are very unusual, and I've got to be perpetually ready to take a shot to get shots like that because they happen so quickly. My YouTube channel, Eternal Perspective, has a lot of content on it. What I will be doing once again is going ahead and downloading this broadcast to my computer and then uploading it to YouTube. That seems to help give a little bit more notification and reach for those that are interested. Thank you so much for your public and private encouragement. This is Robert Forsch, showing you that water is simply seeking its level. And the most important aspect of all of this is to truly be born of God's Spirit. And that's the reason why I share God's Word so much. For an eternal perspective, I encourage everybody to hear, share, and of course, obey God's Word. Bible.is, Bible.com for an eternal perspective. Thank you.